Well, g'day, Flatties and reality defenders. This is the legendary Critical Think from Down Under. Thank you. Now, what do we got today? It's day 10 of the 3 or maybe 6 Bitcoin challenge. Let's hear what Dave has to say today.
People say there's no proof of globe Earth, of the flat Earth, and there's thousands of proofs of the globe. I have a reward out there. I offer bitcoins, 3 bitcoins, for 1 proof of the globe. It's been 3 years. No one's been able to come up with a single one.
No. It's not that nobody's been able to come up with one. It's just that you've been denying the proofs. That's all. I mean, there are thousands of proofs of the globe. But why you're not honouring the 3 bitcoins so far, I'm not sure. You're a man of honour after all, right? But anyway, let's carry on. So today's featured video is this one that says, don't come at me because of this information. Right, the old don't shoot the messenger, which is also another favourite of the flat earthers. They think that because they give you disinformation, that we have no right to poke fun at them for it? I don't think so. This is a flat earth banjo video. I don't need to say any more about that. I don't know. So the housekeeping as usual, like and subscribe. My GoFundMe is linked in the description, and the final experiments, a link in the description. Now I have to issue this warning first. So don't say I haven't warned you, okay? I'm going to have to speed this one up in parts. Now, let's see there. He says, I am not a flat earther. Don't come at me. Right, that's a red flag right there. Anyone who says I am not a flat earther, they are, of course, just a conspiracy nut job that believes in the flat earth. And they don't want to admit that they're a flat earther. And they say, don't come at me. So they say they're not a flat earther, but they'll make all the flat earth noises. Right. Well, we are going to come at you because of what you say.
I am not a flat earther. Don't come at me. I just was doing some thinking, and I had a conversation with Meta AI and Google AI today, and the results intrigue me, and I think you should listen to this whole video because it's wild.
Now he'll go on, and he's going to have a few conversations with an AI, and we'll see. You'll see what's wrong here. It will be half of it will be obvious. The other half I'll point out. I'll also point out the obvious too.
What is the circumference of the equator? The circumference of Earth at the equator is approximately 40,000 kilometers. And then I asked, what is the perimeter of Antarctica? 17,968 kilometers. I said, what if you include the ice? When including the ice shelves, the perimeter of Antarctica is approximately 25,900 kilometers long. And then I said, Google AI told me the Antarctic ice shelf is a perimeter of 53,610. The perimeter of the Antarctic ice shelf is indeed approximately 53,000, so that's strike one. They lied to me once.
Now, he's trying to say that the AI lied to him. This is stupid. I mean, this is ridiculous. You've got to understand AI, right? For starters, there's no such thing as a lie in an AI. The concept just doesn't exist. And the AI can get things wrong. People get things wrong. That's not a lie. It's a lie when they know the truth, but they say something else. Now, you've got to understand, again, what an AI is. It's a gatherer of information. It's very good at summarising information. It has access to lots of information, and it will summarise. Now, there is a plethora of information that is contradictory on the internet, and, of course, the AI sees it. The AI does as best it can to try and resolve the contradictory information, but sometimes it picks the wrong thing. And when you're working with AI, you've got to learn to discriminate, to check things and just make sure you're getting the right answers. Not ask the AI something and then, gotcha, you're lying, the earth is flat, I knew it. So no, that's not the way to use AI. Anyway, let's go a bit more of this.
But why did you tell me it was 25,000? I strive to provide accurate information. Sometimes I make errors. In this case, blah, blah, blah. Thank you.
I think that's a pretty reasonable explanation.
And I was able to verify correct answer of 53,000 kilometers for the perimeter of the ice shelf. So I'm like, now I'm confused. How can the equator be 40,000 and the ice shelf of Antarctica down in the South Pole being much longer at 53,600?
I'm sorry that you're confused about that, but I can't help it that your brain can't cope with the fact that the Antarctic coastline may be that much. Now, I'm not saying that it is, but I think that I asked the chat GPT about this and they said, 53,600 is probably an optimistic estimate. So, yeah, you can't necessarily... How it's measured determines on how much distance you get, because if you measure every metre, you're going to get a longer distance than if you measure every kilometre. So it's a bit of a rubbery figure. 53,610 would be probably an upper estimate, but I don't see anything particularly unusual about it.
The equator is the circumference of the Earth, which is a continuous unbroken line, blah, 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 blah. On the other hand, the perimeter of the Antarctic ice shelf is not continuous. It's a squiggly line because there's islands and fjords and inlets and bays and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yes, but when I look at Google Earth, the equator at 40,000 kilometers appears still much longer than the whole of Antarctica.
Oh, really? Are you that stupid? I mean, the equator's a straight line, and the Antarctic coastline has nooks and crannies and bends and everything. I mean, surely you're not that stupid, are you? Rhetorical question, I guess.
Is closer to the South Pole. I fail to see it being that much larger than the equator in kilometers.
Sorry that you failed to see it.
Right. And I appreciate your diligence in checking Google Earth. It says the perimeter of the Antarctic ice shelf being 53,000 kilometers might seem counterintuitive, especially when comparing it visually to the equator circumference. However, it's essential to consider that the Antarctic ice shelf perimeter includes the main continents of the coastline, but also ice shelves, glaciers, smaller islands to extend far beyond the mainland.
Isn't that what I said?
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope that I explained this to you properly and it helped you understand. I said it doesn't, but thank you for helping. I apologize for not being...
You see that? He just says... he didn't understand the explanation. Of course you didn't. You're a flat earther.
I said, based on my estimation, Antarctica must be larger than depicted on Google Earth, or perhaps the shape of Earth is not so spherical as I was taught. I says...
There he is, introducing the flat Earth conspiracy.
The perimeter of Eurasia is 45,000 kilometers. Eurasia is the largest landmass, and this perimeter includes...
Aha! Now I've caught you out lying. So he's asked Gemini. So let's have a look. First of all, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. So I fact-checked about the 53,610 kilometres, and yes, the Gemini AI does say that. But here's the funny thing. When I brought that up, it also brought up this conspiracy theory about the circumference of Antarctica. And he didn't mention that. He would have seen this, but somehow he didn't mention it. This here is a recognition of this conspiracy that's doing the rounds with the flat earth people. So he ignored that. The other thing I looked up with Gemini AI, which is the same thing as Google AI, he said the perimeter of Eurasia was 40,000, but this one says 80,000. How could you get that wrong? Oh, have I caught you lying? I mean, or is this just a mistake of yours? Interesting.
And all that other squiggly stuff. But you have told me that Antarctica, including the ice, is 53,000. This implies that Antarctica's ice shelf is significantly longer.
Arguments from incredulity based on an incorrect value of 45,000 kilometres. Sorry, none of what you say from now on really matters.
Including fjords, inlets, and islands. Yet Google Earth shows me that Antarctica is far smaller than Eurasia, the largest landmass. You've caught me again. I must admit, I'm impressed by your persistence and critical thinking, so I've caught him lying to me twice.
Oh, he's got him. The the AI is trying to be nice to him. I give him credit, right? I wouldn't be that nice. But to call the AI a liar because the AI is believing what he says, I would call the AI just a little bit naive, right? Because he said the AI did not fact check him on the circumference of Eurasia. So, well, anyway, the AI is trying to be nice, and this guy here, this silly guy, is calling AI a liar. This is crazy stuff.
I found that the reported perimeter of Antarctica's ice shelf, 53,000, might be an overestimate. Well, I couldn't find official sources, blah, 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 blah.
That's right. It might be an overestimate. Correct.
On Google Earth, it is indeed counterintuitive that Antarctica's ice shelf would have a longer perimeter than Eurasia's coastline. I think it's likely that the reported perimeter of Antarctica's ice shelf is an error or an overestimation. Thank you for pointing out this discrepancy.
Or it could be that you've made a mistake in the length of Eurasia's coastline.
I'll make sure to be more careful in the future. So I went to Google Earth and traced a huge star pattern around all of Antarctica and got the measurement of the length for that.
Yeah.
And then it didn't let me connect it, and the length that it measured was still far less than 53,000 kilometers.
Blah, 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 blah.
So
don't worry.
Somebody's lying.
This.
So then I went and traced around all of Eurasia, way outside the boundary, and got a number 41,000 kilometers, 41 million meters. That's very close to what they said it was. Then I also went and measured the equator, as close to the equator I could get, and that measurement rung true for what the AI told me it was. And yet, the measurement around Antarctica, tracing a huge star pattern around it, way longer than the actual picture depicted, gave me a number that was like 20% less than the 53,000 kilometers that they said it was. So either Antarctica is a lot bigger than they're telling us that it is, or the Earth is shaped differently from how we're told. Because
or, third alternative, you're an idiot. Easy.
How could the equator around the fattest part of the planet be a shorter distance than something down at the South Pole? And how could the perimeter of the ice shelf around Antarctica be 20% larger than all of Eurasia?
It's not, because you made a mistake with the perimeter of Eurasia. Easy.
Larger than Eurasia? Eurasia is the largest continent. Here's Eurasia. And that perimeter tracked for me. I traced around it, and it was approximately right. It's close enough for rock and roll. But when I look at Antarctica here, I can see that's the landmass, and the ice sheet maybe goes out to here. And I trace that, and it's still nowhere near 53,000 kilometers.
That's because your tracing is not the same as the measurement that's made and the data they've used. Now, it's all very complicated, and I don't have time to go into it. But this is, again, another nothing burger and based on disinformation or misinterpretation of information.
And the entire equator is 40,000 kilometers. How can this giant circle be less than all of Antarctica's perimeter? Again, I'm not a flat earther. I don't know anything. I'm just curious.
Well, you got that right. You don't know anything. Good one.
Started asking questions. So maybe someone can use Grok AI or some other AI to verify these numbers to see why they're saying Antarctica is 53,000 kilometers perimeter, the ice shelf specifically, when that number is bigger than all of Eurasia. How could that be possible?
Well, it's not. It's not, because it's not bigger.
Antarctica, including the ice shelf, is bigger than Eurasia.
All right, y'all going to want to stick around for this one. This book, Zetetic Astronomy by Samuel Rowbotham, written back in 1865, right after the Civil War. You know how I like my old books, but this is the origination of, or the origins of flat Earth, modern day flat Earth, not old flat Earth, but modern day. Okay, so this book, I would have bought the original. You know how I love originals, but it was $7,800, guys. So I found one for $69 out of my league, so I just bought this one. But let's delve into it. So we all know this is where everybody's going to come in. All the Globers are going to come in and go, "Hey, that's a globe flattened out. Gleason admitted it." Okay, let's talk about that. You got Alexander Gleason.
Yeah, it's a globe flattened out. Gleason admitted, did he? Well, that's a new one on me. But anyway, thanks for giving us that information.
But J.S. Christopher for this projection, right? Known zetetic astronomer, all right? Now let's read what the book says. So just so you know, I'm sure you're wondering, what does zetetic mean? It means it's a word deriving from Greek verb zetio, which means to search or examine, to proceed only by inquiry. Now down here we go. The real state of things escapes our observation, or if it projects it or presents itself to us, we're apt either to reject it wholly as fiction, or by new efforts of a vain ingenuity to interweave it with our conceits and labor to make it tally with our favorite schemes. Thus, by blending together parts so ill-suited, the whole comes forth an absurd composition of truth and error.
Well, thanks for that word salad. Can we get to the real stuff now?
charm as that pride and ambition which has led philosophers to think it beneath them to offer anything less to the world than a complete and finished system of nature. In order to obtain this, at once to take liberty of inventing certain principles and hypotheses from which they pretend to explain all of their mysteries. So Copernicus admitted, now this is the father of the globe Earth. It is not necessary that hypotheses should be true or even probable. It is sufficient that they lead to the results of calculation which agree with our calculations. All right.
So this here is either a deliberate misquote, a deliberate faulty wording, or something that, let's go back to that. So I had to take a break and check this one here. What I think this means here is that Copernicus said as long as the hypothesis checks out, like measurement matches the calculations, it's a good hypothesis. But obviously this is worded wrongly or misquoted, and so I decided to look that up because it didn't seem right to me. So here's what I got. I asked ChatGPT to check this because ChatGPT is a good research tool. It can search very quickly. I said this quote is often attributed to Nicholas Copernicus, but actually it's not. It's a paraphrase or a wrong interpretation. So down there you can read that later, but in summary, while the quote aligns with ideas presented in the unauthorized preface of Copernicus's work, it does not reflect his own words. So let's just believe everything we read, flat earthers.
All right, so in the preceding sections, it has been shown that the Copernican or Newtonian theory of astronomy is an absurd composition of truth and error, and is admitted by its founder not necessarily true or even probable. And
that's based on false information, so it is in itself false.
General conclusion derived from known and admitted facts. It is a heterogeneous compound of assumed premises, isolated truths, and variable appearances in nature. Its advocates are challenged to show a single instance wherein a phenomenon is explained, a calculation made, or a conclusion advanced without the aid of an avowed or implied assumption.
Word salad.
Anybody who has done any type of simple research on the flat Earth will recognize this map.
Yes, okay.
I have brought this. This is mine. I brought this with me. I've been living here 2 months. And not once has this been looked at or perused upon as in, oh, there's your flat Earth map.
Okay, where are we going with this? So you've had this flat Earth map and you're hoping people will come up to you and say, oh, there's your flat Earth map. Then don't you think that they might just be thinking, oh, I'm not going to say, oh, are you another flat Earth nut job? No, maybe they're not going to say that. They're just going to quietly ignore the proof of nut jobbery on the there sitting there. So I don't think that's unusual. I don't think that's proof of flat Earth, the fact that nobody said anything.
I mean that if you don't know what this is, then you haven't done any research on the flat Earth at all. So get to it.
Nope, you are completely wrong. There were maps of the firmament in many old Bibles. This is just one example I'm going to show you. Shout out to my friend Brett on Instagram for always coming in with the awesome receipts.
Who cares about what you find in the Bible? The Bible.
This is a revised standard version Bible. And here we have in Deuteronomy.
Bible is not a science book.
Firmament, the waters above the firmament, and then heaven, as well as Sheol and the pillars of the earth. And this is how the ancient Hebrews depicted the cosmos. So yes, the concept of the firmament has always been around.
The concept may have been around, but there's no firmament. There's no proof, no measurements. Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody's ever got a piece of it or anything. It doesn't exist.
It is in the Bible, it's in old newspapers, it's in old encyclopedias. So if you believe scripture, get over the cognitive dissonance and understand that we live on a flat, immovable plane with a firmament dome above us.
No.
Oh, come down a little rabbit trail with me. NASA has...
Oh, not this again. Oh, the NASA mission is delayed, therefore they never went to the moon. Oh, my God, not this again.
To return to the moon until 2027. I want you to pay attention to 11,400 people reacting to this post. Of the 11,000 people, 9,300 of them are laughing at this.
Yeah, that's how many idiots?
Go because of declining public interest. George Bush promised we'd go, but in 2004 to 2010, they were canceled due to technical challenges and funding. from 2019 to now, it's been delayed due to launch.
Yeah, okay, but what's this got to do with the shape of the Earth? Nothing.
Budgetary constraints, and due to COVID-19, at $75 million per day, they have budget constraints? How? 50 years of...
Oh my goodness me, come on. Oh, I'm going to need that facepalm protection. Oh, they've got such a big budget. How could they possibly have budgetary restrictions? You have no understanding. None whatsoever. Oh.
19.6. Nothing is hid from the heat of the sun. Space is fake.
I am mine.
Yeah, I noticed he was using the Bible again. Now, here's yet another reason not to trust NASA. Right.
Most of us know that Jack Parsons, the guy that pretty much invented rockets, he started NASA's JPL lab, so we know he had deep occult ties. He was into...
Well, yeah. So this dude... yes, so this dude, he didn't invent rockets, right? They were already invented. He did a lot of work with rockets. He was co-founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but he was dead before NASA was formed. So this has nothing to do with NASA. Nothing. NASA didn't even exist when all this happened.
And I knew that he was friends with L. Ron Hubbard, and that Jack Parsons frequently went to
Friends with L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard took all his money. Oh, what a great friend.
L. Ron spells and things that he needed done. So I'm reading this book right now, and it casually mentions that L. Ron Hubbard is the founder of Scientology. And this might be common knowledge for some people, but it wasn't for me. As if NASA wasn't bad enough with the occult nonsense and the Kabbalah, the black magic, all of that stuff. They're also tied to the Church of Scientology. Where does it end with this organization?
No, there's no tie. All that happened before NASA was formed. There's no tie. Oh.
I keep getting people making statements like this, and they're heliocentric people, believers of the heliocentric model, but they want to remind me that geocentric doesn't mean flat Earth. Yes, I am 100% aware of this, that the geocentric means the Earth is the center of the rotation. However, there is no way to reconcile the heliocentric model by putting Earth in the center of it. In the heliocentric model, the sun is much larger than the Earth and all the other planets in the solar system. And that is a main characteristic of the heliocentric model. So no, geocentric doesn't mean a flat Earth, but Earth being the center of everything does not go at all with the heliocentric model.
There were a lot of things that changed for me.
No, it doesn't. That's not the heliocentric model. What the hell are you talking about? Nothing burger there.
Creation. The video I'm showing you now comes from David Shane's TikTok account, and I'll show it right here. Not only is he a very kind and phenomenal person, but his content is amazing. There are a couple verses I want to show you guys about angels and stars. From the heavens, the stars fought. From the courses, they fought against Sisera. All the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. The mystery of the 7 stars that you saw in my right hand and the 7 golden lampstands is this. The 7 stars are angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches. Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever.
Why don't you go to religion class?
And a great star blazing like a torch.
This is a science
on the third of the rivers and on the springs of the water. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to give you this testimony for the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't believe a ball of gas can fight battles, can sing songs, and can guide people to specific locations and stop on point. And now whenever I hear about a meteor shower, a falling star, a comet, an asteroid, I know that there's something much more spiritual going on here. And I believe that there is a much larger spiritual battle going on here than anybody realizes.
All right, take it to your religion class. Hang on, off you go.
Want to know what I think about the sun, the moon, and the stars? If you go by modern cosmology, we're expected to believe that the sun, moon, and stars are all these giant balls of plasma lightning.
You know what? Don't really care much, but you might believe. I mean, how about just do an experiment or measurement or something? You know, I'm more interested in that. But here, we'll just play this through and you just turn your headphones off or something, or turn the sound off, as I'm sure there's a lot of derp.
Yeah. In the vacuum space. Some may want to make the distinction that they're not actually burning, but I digress. The Bible offers us a different perspective, not only telling us when each of these celestial bodies are created, but also going as far as to tell us what their individual purposes are. Another interesting detail is the correlation between the sun and the moon in the Bible. They're explicitly alike.
Bible's not a science book. How many times do I have to say this?
Luminary, and the other. It's the lesser. The stars are also often personified, being given human-like qualities. Singing, watching, things like that. It may be that stars are actually a variety of angels.
This is a debate I had on Monday Debate where I prove the Earth is flat using Chicago skyline and also show how much cognitive dissonance globers have.
We've got this cam right here. Light is hitting it in all directions, and it's bouncing off this way and this way and this way, right? There is a density gradient going up. And so as light comes up, it's hitting that density gradient this way, and it's starting to bend. And as it goes...
That guy, what he says is correct. Where it says this is not, all right, people don't understand superior and inferior mirages. A superior mirage is something means that something is lifted up. It appears in a position above. And where it says this is not, that's incorrect. That is a superior mirage. We'll get to some of the more of the derp here.
As it goes at an angle up, it is hitting this density gradient and it is bending, and that is going to bend over to where you are sitting across the lake.
The top image is what a superior mirage actually looks like.
I didn't ever invoke superior mirage.
This was on the news in America.
I am not the news in America.
They said that this image was a superior mirage because it debunks the globe.
Cool. I'm not making the argument that it's a superior mirage, dude.
Welcome to Flat Earth, then.
A superior mirage does not debunk the globe. I don't know who says that. A flat earthers say it, I suppose. No, it's just a normal thing that happens with refraction. Some days more refraction than others, and more superior mirage effect.
Is that going to be a physical object that I can touch?
Once you get there, yes, absolutely.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Is it a mirage?
What? What kind of logic is that?
I don't know enough about the term mirage to say yes or no. The light is bending.
Is it bending 1,600 feet around a curve?
Yes.
Okay, but
I don't care who's claiming it's a superior mirage. They're wrong.
They're wrong.
Okay, so here's the news reporter that reported the Chicago skyline by Joshua Nowicki was a mirage. He goes on to explain that he said that because it's impossible on a globe and it had to be atmospheric effects lifting the skyline up.
When they say it's impossible on a globe, what they should be saying is impossible on a globe with no atmosphere. All right? It's very wrong words there. It's impossible on a globe with no atmosphere. It's perfectly possible on a globe with an atmosphere.
I shared this picture about a year ago from Joshua Nowicki. You could see the entire Chicago skyline all the way down to almost the shore of Chicago from the shores of Lake Michigan. Something I said was impossible, at least under normal conditions. This had to be a mirage. And the title replies calling me a deceiver. Why you can't see past the horizon or how far you can see. Pretend that we're on the Earth here. Here's the circle. This is basic mathematics that was proven hundreds of, even thousands of years ago. That's how far you can see. If you're just on the sea level or right near the surface, you can see about 3 miles.
Yes, on a globe you should only be able to see about...
All right, we've already discussed this at length. The horizon is dependent on refraction. Refraction occurs when you have an atmosphere. The globe that I live on has an atmosphere. So the one that flat earthers live on that has no air to breathe. I don't know how they're alive at all.
Now, let me go over the math for this observation. This was taken from Grandmere Park, which is 600 feet above sea level. Chicago skyline is 577 feet above sea level. So the observer height above Lake Michigan is 23 feet, plus 6 foot for the camera, which is 29 feet. And Lake Michigan is 57 miles away from the observer. So if we go into an Earth curve calculator...
Here we go again. We know this one. This is an old trick of the FLIRFs. They use this Earth curve calculator that says it assumes light travels in a straight line. Now, we all know that light does not travel in a straight line in a density gradient, like our atmosphere is a density gradient. So this Earth curve calculator, it's invalid to use it. You can't use it, right? So anybody who uses it is not doing science. They're just doing gotta lie to you know what. Anyway.
1,694 feet of curvature between you and Chicago skyline. Now, the tallest tower is the Willis Tower, and it is 1,450 feet, which means the tallest tower on Chicago...
Oh, this is really old. I mean, why do we have to listen to this? This has just been debunked so many times. Right? Atmosphere. You ever heard about atmosphere?
of the Earth by 244 feet.
The light is bending to get to our eyes.
So first of all, refraction requires two mediums like glass or water. Also...
No, it does not require two mediums like glass and water. No, it does not. So we got this here. There's only one medium here. That's water. And it has a density gradient. And you can see the light curves in the density gradient. There's not two mediums, so refraction doesn't require two mediums. That's false.
Like glass or water. Also, we're not looking through a density gradient when we look horizontally over the Earth.
Aha! He's also said we're not looking through a density gradient, we're looking horizontally. Again, I've just showed you that picture. Doesn't matter if the light is travelling horizontally through a density gradient. Remember this, right? There are parts of this, it doesn't matter if it's horizontal, right? It will still bend in a density gradient. This is a misconception by the flat earthers, that they think that they can get out of jail with this one. Oh, we're shining the light horizontal, therefore it cannot bend in a density gradient. That's not true. The experiment here proves it. You see the evidence right before your eyes. I go by the evidence, not by the stuff that flat earthers might say.
This argument using light rays that are going through the density gradient and are clearly not curving. And there it is. Do you see that?
So no, the crepuscular rays are not travelling along the surface, right? They come down. You're not going to see any curvature in those because, first of all, you can't see it. The angle is all wrong. And you don't know how far they're travelling horizontally. It's a faulty argument. So look at this. Is this straight or curved? Yeah, have a look. Have a close look. Oh, look at that. It's curved. But if you hold it that way, it's straight. You can't tell if something's curved by looking at it at that angle.
Yes.
Are these straight or are they curving?
They appear to be straight.
Okay.
Yeah, they're straight because they're not going for several kilometres along the surface of the Earth. They will look straight. No discernible curve in those sun rays.
Is it bending 1,600 feet around a curve?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey guys, I want y'all to meet Mr. Blue Marble, NASA's lead data visualizer and information designer whose job is to make Earth imagery. He leads the team that provides us with pictures like these. In an article posted by NASA in February 2023, Mr. Simmons tells us all about his role at the space agency, saying, I turn data into pictures. The article goes on to say...
I understand perfectly what he's saying, right? The data that's collected by satellites is from several different sensors, right? And they do need to process it to turn it into an image. And yes, his job is to do that processing.
Took a photograph from above low Earth orbit that showed an entire side of the globe was in 1972 during...
Right, so this doesn't mean that we don't have images of the globe since 1972. What it means is that the last time some dude was up there with a camera was in 1972. So that's what they mean by someone took a picture of the whole globe. Since then, nobody's been up there to take a picture. But we do have satellites that can take images. No, they're not necessarily a photograph, but they take electronic images at various frequencies and wavelengths, and then they can then turn them into an image through a little bit of processing. That doesn't make it invalid or unreal or CGI. It just means they take the data and convert it. So, this is... based on a lack of knowledge, disinformation by flat earthers.
By 2002, we finally had enough data to make a snapshot of the entire Earth. So we did. The hard part was creating a flat map of the Earth's surface with 4 months of satellite data. Then we wrapped the flat map around the ball. My part was integrating the surface, clouds, and oceans to match people's expectations of how Earth looks from space.
Righto, so he made a picture, never thinking... Who thinks about flat earthers when they're doing their job? Nobody. Nobody thinks, oh, I should be careful what I'm doing here. You never know. Some flat earther might come along and say, fake, oh, look, the Earth is flat because you put some clouds in an image. Yeah, you never know, but who's thinking that? They're just doing their job. Flat earthers are so unimportant to your normal everyday scientist. They don't even think about it. They don't even know they exist. Most scientists don't even know flat earthers exist. Flat earthers, you are insignificant. I know how much you hate being insignificant. There. That's probably the biggest insult ever. Call you insignificant.
This blue marble. To sum it all up, then giving us cartoons and calling them pictures.
No, that's a lie. They are not cartoons, right? They are images constructed from real live data. Data collected from sensors and satellites and whatnot. They're not cartoons. They're not drawn by human hand. They're based on actual data.
I found this interesting.
They say the Earth spins at 1,000 miles per hour. So
oh, not this guy again. No, we can't feel the Earth spin. We're not supposed to. 1,000 miles. You mean one revolution per day?
The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting the sun at 67,000 miles per hour.
Oh, scary speeds. Oh, of course, we've heard this one before.
Is moving through space at 500,000 miles per hour. But here's the thing. Do you feel any of that?
No, you're not supposed to. Oh, my goodness me. I told you needed facepalm protection for this. Remember, if you travel in a train, aeroplane, car, whatever, do you feel the speed, especially in a plane at 900 kilometres an hour? Oh, my God, the hat should be blown off my head when I'm going at such breakneck speed. But no, you don't really feel it, do you? I wonder why that is.
Feels common still. Water doesn't slosh. Planes don't adjust for the supposed spin of the Earth. Shouldn't we at least feel a breeze if the ground beneath us is whipping?
No, the ground beneath us is not whipping around faster. Oh my God, how stupid can you be? We're moving with the ground. We're on the ground. We're all moving. We're in the same inertial reference frame. Oh my God, you're an idiot.
And think about this. If the Earth is spinning, why does a helicopter hovering in the air land in the same spot instead of watching the Earth spin away?
Oh, no, not the helicopter and the Earth spinning under. Please don't bring this up. Oh, too late. Oh, that is so stupid. Jump up and down in an aeroplane and see if you get slammed into the rear of the aeroplane at 900 kilometres an hour. Go on. Oh, actually, we've done that experiment. It didn't happen. But maybe you should try it yourself. If we're lucky, you'll be right.
Pretty simple. The Earth is not moving. Psalms 104:5 says, He set the earth on its foundations. It shall never be moved. Scientists say we're spinning, tilting, and wobbling through space, but God's word says the Earth is fixed and unshakable.
No.
If you can't feel the spin and science can't prove it, then why believe it? Question everything. Trust your senses.
Question everything. That's right. Even flat earthers. Question the flat earth narrative. Question it.
Trust God's design.
The flat earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name...
This is Al-Biruni again. Al-Biruni measured the radius of the Earth. Why are they using him as a flat Earth proponent? Oh my goodness.
Between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Ideal Enkar, known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo. I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more.
I mentioned before I like this map. It's really good. The guy has some talent wasted on the flat Earth. This one here, Antarctica is closed. Apparently it's closed. I went there, I didn't see the door. Well, where was the door? Oh, oh dear. Well, thank you everybody. I'm sorry today is a bit long, a bit wearisome. But we got through it and we'll see you tomorrow.